What are some street smarts everyone should know? I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood in Chicago, and probably the best thing you should do when walking by yourself at night is pay attention to every car. Usually they'll drive past you and scope you out. If you look like a target, you'll see that car again, or they'll meet you farther down your path while you're walking past an alley. Always be ready for something when walking past an alley and stay close to the houses. That way if anything's suspicious, you can run into a backyard. One, situational awareness would probably be the biggest thing I'd stress to people. These days everyone's so buried in their phones, they don't pay attention. 2, walk with a purpose. Act like you belong and you're 100% in charge of your shit. This combined with 1 will probably keep you out of trouble 99% of the time. 3, if you can, control the situation. Your gut instincts are often right, and when they are telling you to leave, you should. Sometimes people prevent that from happening, but as a general rule I try to control the situation by leaving. I'll try again and again. Never do drugs in situations you don't know about. Could be someone spikes it, takes advantage by robbing, rape, kidnapping, whatever it is. Always be paying attention. Don't tell even close friends the amount of money you have on you. I was set up by an 18-year-old female coworker this week. She seemed like a sweetheart and was giving me rides to work for a few days. I asked on Monday if we could go to the bank as I needed to cash a check for roughly $4,500. Minutes after dropping me near my house, I was robbed at gunpoint of everything by 2 guys. They knew how much they were looking for. The robber said he watched me leave the bank, but the police saw on camera near home that they had been waiting for me for an hour. One of the robbers was her ex/current boyfriend, it turns out. Here are a few of street smarts that makes it harder for pickpockets to steal your stuff. Do not keep your wallet in the back pocket of your jeans. This is a super easy place for pickpocket to take it from. When in crowded touristy areas, it sometimes is better to wear your backpacks or purses to the front of your body. If you sit down in a restaurant, keep your backpack in front of your feet. Be especially aware of your belongings when there is a bit of pushing, like when entering a subway or metro wagon. Be alert in situations where a potential group of thieves try to distract you, for example, by asking you for directions on a map. While you are distracted, by showing the person the directions, another thief will open your bags and take your stuff without noticing. Street smarts to give your kids. If you get lost, find the closest adult with kids. I saw this in action once at Disneyland when a 4-year-old kid approached me and my kiddos while we were eating. She joined us very calmly, introduced herself, and said her parents gave her the above advice. I heard her parents shouting her name not long after, and the relief on their faces was a sight. Be aware of surroundings. Look like you belong either through body language, attire, or occupation, without being oblivious to things around you. The moment you look lost, out of place, or unsure is the moment you can look like a good target. If someone is looking at you with an expression questioning why you are there, be prepared to answer it with confidence and give an answer they would accept, or be prepared to leave before they can ask. If you're walking and someone approaches, don't break stride. You can carry on a conversation while walking, but people who are looking to proselytize, sell you something, or mug you will want you to slow or stop to address them. If they want to chat, make them keep up with you. You can even tell them that you're in a rush, but would love to talk and walk. They'll likely find someone more stationary, because if you can make a person slow, you can make them stop. If you can make them stop, you've already adjusted their priorities and placed yourself at the top. It's a subtle power game. Keep going where you're going, and you retain your power. Stop and cut, and you've given it up and opened yourself to possible problems. If you're going to be away on holiday or somewhere you're unfamiliar with for any length of time, it's a good idea to try to always make sure that someone knows roughly where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing on a given day. Even if you're like me and you don't like to plan out a full itinerary, a rough indication of what your plans might be can help work out your movements if ever there is an issue. Never flash your whole wad of cash in a public place while paying for something. Keep a few bucks lost in one pocket for spending. Keep the majority of your cash in a separate pocket. Don't open a wallet full of all your money where other people can see you. From experience, if you're alone on the street and you think you're being followed, immediately call someone, forget about conversation starters, and give away your location. You should add "I think I'm being followed." Speak loudly enough so the person you think is following you hears you doing it. If you're right and they were following you, that will be a big turn off. If you're wrong, you have nothing to lose. It might sound harsh, but if anyone approaches you and asks to use your phone for anything, especially emergency related, don't fall for it. They will usually tell you what the emergency is, so walk away, tell them you don't have a phone/whatever, and for your inner peace call the emergency and give away that person's location. Tell them exactly what the person told you. Either they really needed help and you're sending it their way, or they tried to trick you into something horrible and will most likely try it again with the next passerby. Whenever you are, plan ahead and blend in with the crowd. I mean, don't dress all fancy in the hood kinda thing. Please, for the love of God, stop using your earphones while on the street. At least try to only have one earbud in if you can't help it. It's not healthy. Ear fatigue, potential risks to your hearing, etc. But at least it won't completely cover the background noises. Always ask for only one scoop of ice cream first, because they make single scoops bigger. Then act like you changed your mind and ask for a second scoop. They will be pressured to match the size of the first scoop, providing you with a massive amount of ice cream. If you are walking alone at night and you feel like you're being watched/followed, start talking to yourself loudly about crazy shit. Make it a conversation even. OMG, did you see her dress? That dress was so crazy long. Like, how could she walk? Let alone walk in that grocery store. And those cheap plastic shoes. I own those cheap plastic shoes. Are you saying I'm cheap? If the cheap plastic shoe fits, honey, I'll admit to doing this. I used to work graveyard shifts and you gotta be aware. Most people, no matter how bad, try to avoid crazy. Crazy will hurt you back. If you are forced to walk through a bad/dangerous neighborhood, keep your chin up and maintain a confident and comfortable look on your face. Nothing screams "abuse me" more than an out of place person walking around with their chin down, looking at the sidewalk. I learned this after visiting a new girlfriend many years ago in a bad section of Philly. I was walking down the street towards her house and a local female walking by said, "Keep that chin up around here, white boy." The more I considered that advice, the more logical it sounded. If a stranger talks to you in public and it's not immediately clear why they are talking to you, ignore them. Just keep minding your own business. Don't look at them and don't say a word. Most hustles start as just a friendly chat. Eye contact. A lone assailant will often use the element of surprise to their advantage. If you're walking alone and someone is following you, make eye contact to let them know that you are aware of them. This will often dissuade them from attacking. This tactic has worked for me in the past. In my fraternity, I used to defuse a lot of fights. I'm a thin guy, 150 pounds 6, so my size isn't really an advantage. I found one of the best ways to defuse an angry drunk that you don't know is to ask them their name, give them your name, and bring them in for a handshake, hug, dap, whatever. Suddenly you're friends, and the drunk is confused why someone is being friendly to them, and likely used all of his mental facility to process that, and has now forgotten why they were so mad in the first place. This buys time for someone stronger to come as backup, or the potential victim to escape. Has worked many times for me. Don't expect other people to save you. Make sure you take precautions, and don't just wait around. If you need something done, have things in your car that will help you in a dire situation. Know how to change your own tire. Sure is nice when someone will do it for you, but if we have learned anything in 2020 is that you might just be alone when shit hits the fan and you have to start trying things to get out of a tough situation. Don't get into a car with a stranger. I had a 24 years old international student tell me he didn't know how to respond when a guy on the street asked for money. He said he didn't have any, it was at home. The guy said he'd drive him there to get it. Again, the student didn't know what to do, so he got in the guy's car. They drove to his apartment, where the student went inside and hid until the guy left. I know. For an American, this is completely unbelievable. My cat is more street smart. I wouldn't believe it if he hadn't told me himself. He was very late to class and clearly freaked out. There's a bit more to the story, and with each additional fact, my jaw dropped lower and lower. The kid was an adorable and smart hard-working student, but I kept thinking he should not be allowed outside on his own. If you are in an area where there are storefronts, use the reflection in the window glass to see behind you as you walk. There may be people on the street that you pass, but if they make a sudden move on you, you can react. Don't fuck with that dude with cauliflower ears. He can take more and harder hits than you think. Get those stickers off your car identifying you as a female. Girls just wanna have fun northeast. It makes you a target. If you live in an urban area with high transient population, regularly check locked gates and rare use access points. Look for things like small pieces of tape on locks. You are being targeted and tested for access to your home that you do not regularly use. Carry 2 wallets. One is a honeypot you hand over if getting robbed. The other is your real wallet. Pro tip, put a little cash and expired credit cards in the honeypot. This will help it look more real. When walking on the sidewalk, if you think a car is following you, simply switch direction, turn around and walk the other way. It's harder for a car to change direction quickly. They will either have to stop and reverse, or suddenly U-turn, which will give you time to run, or change direction again. Never get in a stranger's car, and never give them the chance to grab you. 2 things. 1. Someone already mentioned it, but I'm going to reinforce it. Trust your gut feeling. There's a lot to be said about the way your subconscious brain perceives a situation. If your gut is telling you to go there, but go too. The appropriate response to somebody wanting to physically fight you is usually to remove yourself from the situation. I have extensive training in hand-to-hand combat through military and private instruction, and I'm still going to tell you that I would much prefer to walk away from the loudmouth drunk at the bar and go home to my girlfriend. You should all learn how to defend yourself, because walking away isn't always an option, but I hope it never comes to that for you. Best wishes. This one is specific to San Francisco or other hilly cities. Park at the top of the hill. Why? Because criminals don't want to climb up it to break into your car when there are plenty of perfectly good cars to rob at the bottom of the hill. Petty crimes are about convenience and opportunity, or, as someone once put it, crime is lazy. Have a bitch face. The don't talk to me, don't even dare walk up to me face. If you are a woman, if some creep tries to talk to you, give the WTF, why are you even talking to me look. This is rather cold-hearted but true. Don't believe any sob stories. In my city there is a woman telling she is collecting money for her sick child. All the women's and homeless shelters know she is just a scam artist, and she is trying to take any money from anyone who believes her. A real tip? If you are walking through a place you're not sure is safe, do not make fucking eye contact with anyone. In some places this will be enough to get you noticed and fucked with. Just act like you belong there, and don't look at anyone, even for a second. Even in the way you might accidentally lock eyes with a stranger. Don't do it. I feel like dating apps have become so normalized, but from my perspective, they are so sketchy. If you're meeting up with a stranger, please tell all your friends. Send them pics of the account. Find the stranger on social media and send that information to your friend group as well. I would even consider having a designated phone call with a close friend at a certain point in the date. Not only to protect yourself from the unthinkable, but also from people trying to scam/rob you or talk you into a situation you don't want to be in. Your head weighs 10 pounds and the hardest part of it is slightly in front of where your baby soft spot used to be. If you drop your whole body and connect with that part of your head, you can easily crush someone's sternum or nose. Using your open palm to hit someone is less likely to hurt you than using your knuckles. It also doubles as a way to grab or push someone after contact. Either straighten your fingers or tuck them into your palm and connect with the fatty part of your palm. The ribs and nose are easy targets. The eyes and ears of an attacker are extremely vulnerable. If you make air pockets in your palm by making a bowl shape with your fingers and thumb and smack an attacker's ear, it can blow out their eardrum and disorient them. It only takes around 5 to 10 pounds of force to break someone's jaw. Even if you don't break it, there's a change of knocking them out or dazing them with a good swing. There's no such thing as dirty fighting. If someone is trying to harm you or someone close to you, then all is fair until the attack stops. Bite, scratch, eye gouging, groin kicking, screaming in their ear, headbutting, swinging a rock are all valid strategies. Never surrender your body to an assailant. Don't let someone's shit talking get you in a fight. Don't shit talk back. Do everything in your power to not fight, to de-escalate. I know people who have been shot in the parking lot over who was wearing what shoes. One guy is dead. One guy's in jail for life. One Wendy's employee was just shot for not giving a guy extra dipping sauce. You never know where someone else is at or what they can do to you. I carried a firearm for a while and had a guy challenge me to a fight because I wouldn't buy him a burger. I was broke, not knowing I had the tools needed to end his life on the street, all because he almost assailed me over something that cost $1. It may be embarrassing, it may be degrading, but it's not worth medical bills, disability, jail, and especially not death. You are never as big and bad as you think you are. Especially goes to you folks working out. Coming from a guy who works out like crazy. You may feel stronger, but it doesn't mean you're the strongest. Apologize, harmonize, offer to buy a drink, food, beg please, kiss their feet, run, even take a punch, and walk away letting them win. Do whatever you need to walk away unharmed. Only fight if every other option has been exhausted, and it's for your life. It's not being weak, it's surviving and not ruining your life over something that won't matter a week from now. If you put your finger on a mirror and there is no space between your finger and its reflection, you are looking at a two-way mirror. This once helped me in the dressing room of a shady clothing store that sold dancer clothes when I was only 15 to 16. My friend and I thought it'd be funny to go in and try things on. After checking the mirror, we left immediately. If you feel like someone's following you, act like you're on a call with someone. Just loudly talk to your phone. If you don't have a phone with you, act like you have earbuds in your ears and act like you're adjusting them while talking to them. If you're getting attacked, harassed, or anything like that, but nobody steps out to help you, try speaking to a specific person, like "Hey you, in a red jacket, help me." It will make it more likely for them to help you because they feel personally called out and spoken to. Also try to be alone with sketchy persons and try to walk with small crowds, or make sure at least a person somewhere is passing by. If a child asks you to come outside because their parents, for example, need a phone because they ran out of fuel or crashed or whatever, tell them to ask a person that works here for a phone and leave as soon as you're done. It's a rather new strategy, using kids to bribe vulnerable looking people to come outside or to where they want them to be at to kidnap them or do other things to them. Don't stay out late or somewhere alone without people knowing where you are and about when you should come back. Just maybe tell a friend where you are going to go while talking as a side note just in case. If you want to get past people in a crowded area like an airport, walk in a straight line at a fast pace. Shoulders up, back straight, and look straight ahead of you past everyone, and don't make eye contact with anyone or slow down. Everyone will get out of your way. It's nuts. I've been doing this since I was like a 5'12" and it worked then and still works now. Something about it makes people see you as the person they need to move out of the way for and the other way around. Unless there are people at home, don't post holiday pictures online until you come back. It's like saying I'm gone for a week, people. It happened to my partner, but his son was at home at the time. Partner went with his missus at the time and his daughter, leaving his son behind. His son had to deal with people trying to break in. They knew the daughter and saw her social media posts and worked out no one was at home. If you're a woman and you're in a large store, so like a Walmart or a Target or what have you, and there is someone low-key following you, walk towards the front where the registers are, turn around and ask clearly, "Can I help you?" The register area is usually the most populated part of the store, so when you say that and that person walks away, you can then go run and tell someone. If that person is a large male and he's got an earpiece in, he's a trafficker and his fellow trafficking buddies are listening to him through that earpiece in the parking lot. Go and find the nearest person and tell them that you are being followed by a large man with an earpiece. In either scenario, find someone who is willing to walk with you to your car. Every time I go on a trip I abide by one simple rule: don't do anything stupid. And you might think it's an obvious concept, but I've heard of so many people having something happen to them, and it always comes down to something they knew they shouldn't do but did anyway. I can't believe I got mugged. I was just walking home at 2 AM on my own. Of course your sense of what something stupid looks like will improve as you grow up and listen to stories, or are unlucky/naive enough to have one of your own. Keep one headphone out of your ear when walking. Carry pepper spray. Most people don't even realize they have been stabbed when it happens. So pepper spray is a better self-defense weapon. Also looks better in court. Women should change into sneakers after leaving work. Better for your feet, and most people who would take advantage of a situation are fat fucks who couldn't run a block. Leave at least 30 minutes before the bars close. If you know that someone is following you, go into a store and tell the owner/cashier what's happening. No one wins a street fight. Fighting with honor is a good way to end up on the ground getting stomped on. If you're being mugged, take out your wallet and throw, then start running in the opposite direction. Nothing you have is worth dying over and putting your ego in your back pocket, or you could easily get killed.